Hello, dearly beloved. I'm really excited for this conversation. If any of you have been paying attention over the last 3 years around the simplest, most effective marketing strategy that Tad Hargrave from Marketing for Hippies and I have been standing on our soapboxes and talking about from our 40 plus years of collective entrepreneurial experience. Um, we're going to be talking all about crafting and touring a signature workshop with one of the Magic Mind members, Cynthia, who has been inside of the Magic Mind for over a year now and is having some ridiculously awesome results with her signature workshop. So, Cynthia is the founder of Mindful Creative Muse, an online school that has supported over 7,000 students in 50 plus countries. She helps artists, teachers, therapists, course creators, mindful practitioners, and small business owners reduce stress, reconnect with their creativity, and confidently share mindful art through her intentionally accredited online certification programs, retreats, and signature workshop. Cynthia's gentle approach blends mindfulness, expressive art, and embodied practices, making creativity accessible to all. You can learn more about Cynthia and her work at mindfulcreativemuse.com. And I just want to say, I've been running the Magic Mind in many different iterations over the last decade plus. I've had hundreds and hundreds of creators and entrepreneurs come through my community membership over the years. And as a coach, I'm sure you can all relate to this. It's such a delight when somebody takes the advice you give them and just fucking runs with it and does everything you tell them to do, including like hiring the assistant, doing the signature workshop, following the system that you co-created together, improving it every time, and just like taking action on the thing that you're like, here's the plan, follow the plan will work. And so today we're going to talk about the plan that Cynthia's been following, the results that she's had, lessons she's learned along the way, and what advice she has for others who maybe you're going through Tad and my signature workshop training starting in September 2025. Maybe you've already done the training and you're just trying to build the motivation or learn from your own experiences. The goal of this whole conversation is to support all of you to do a better job of marketing your business by giving people a real life experience of who you are and the transformation you facilitate for others, which is what Cynthia has been doing this year. So, Cynthia, thanks for being on the Making Magic podcast and YouTube channel. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I just want to say I'm really grateful that you've been following the plan, and I would just love to talk about first, like what. So you joined the Signature Workshop training last year, 2024, and you started reaching out to host your signature workshop. Can you give us the title of your signature workshop? And I'll get the link to your next signature workshop landing page so people can sign up and come check it out and experience it firsthand.
Yeah, so the title is Art as Meditation, and it's really exploring how you can meditate through simple art practices. So many of the people I work with have tried meditation and they can't, or they come up with barriers to it. So it's really simple and accessible for adults and for teaching children as well.
Beautiful. And so the whole purpose of Signature Workshop is to share a bit about your backstory, your philosophy, or your school thoughts. So you just kind of shared a very brief snippet of your point of view that anybody can do this, that art can be meditation, and then facilitate their first breakthrough experience, which is also meant to be their first step up the metaphorical mountain that you guide people up. And so could you describe, as far as like if your business was a mountain, what the top of the mountain looks like for people that go through your teacher training, sign up for your programs, do your courses that you have on your website, etc.?
Yeah, so really, as they move up the mountain, it's through online courses, the teacher training, and then coaching as well. Ultimately, so I have four internationally accredited teacher trainings that are trauma informed and teach people how to not only do mindful art and meditation, but how to share it in a way that is trauma informed, how they can market in a way that doesn't feel gross for them or the people that they work with, and how they can have a sustainable online or in-person teaching business. And so once they've moved through all of that, they're at the top of the mountain, they're really much more self-sufficient and successful in sustaining that. Yeah.
Beautiful. And what is for your signature workshop? So that's the top of the mountain. What is kind of the outcome that you're aiming to facilitate for people in your 60-minute signature workshop?
Yeah, it's really to name some of the core beliefs or barriers that can stop people from trying art or meditation to begin with. Feelings of not feeling like you don't have enough time, that you're not good enough, that art or meditation isn't for you. So there's a taste of the practice that they can see and experience for themselves. Actually, I do have time that I can do art as meditation. It is really simple. I can feel better through the process and I can easily integrate it into my life. So I share 2 to 3 practices that they can continue to do on their own afterwards when that workshop is done.
Beautiful. And the whole purpose of a signature workshop is to create it once, tour it virtually and in person, and just keep making it better and better and better every time so that it just keeps getting better. And instead of what I know for myself until I figured this out, I used to just constantly be reinventing the wheel, thinking I had to keep reinventing new types of content, new point of views, new perspectives, new workshops all the time. Whereas once you have a business model, whether it's like for you, teacher trainings and selling individual online courses and retreats, once you have the business model in place, you create the ultimate signature workshop experience that brings people into your orbit, that gives them a taste of what it's like to work with you, and then they could decide which path they want to choose to engage with your paid work. And so for you, the signature workshop training ended last December. We're now end of July. How many outreach emails have you sent? And I know, so in the signature workshop training, there's a job description that people can use to hire a signature workshop tour assistant, which I believe you applied some of what was in that job description. You hired somebody, so you've had support. But how many emails have you sent out, and how many bookings or partnerships have you had so far in the last
Yeah.
7, 8 months?
So we've reached out to over 400 partners. Some, I would say probably 40 of those partners were past collaborators that I had already worked with. A large majority of them were brand new that we've researched and did outreach to. So we've contacted over 400 partners. Of course, as you know, sometimes you reach out more than once. It might be up to 3 times with the emails. So I'm not sure of the exact number of emails. I'd have to research that and do tracking. But we have now booked 46 different types of partnerships throughout this year. And I say different types because some of them are signature workshops, some are joint venture partnerships where we're trading. And then we do also have some ended up being podcast interviews. But I have found even podcast interviews, if they say yes to that initially, that can also lead to a signature workshop collaboration later.
Found the same thing as like reaching out, and if they're like, no, I don't think I want to do the signature workshop, have you on the podcast, and then after the podcast like, actually I like you, I was like, yeah, do you want to do the signature workshop now? And they might be more likely once you build that rapport.
Mhm.
46 is amazing. I mean, that is really incredible in 8 short months. And out of the 46 partnerships, how many deliveries have you done so far, do you know?
Yeah, so we're about halfway. I think we're at 22 deliveries, right around that at this point. And I was just checking as well before we were chatting. I've had 1,782 or 86 email signups as a result of the current partnerships that have already happened. And I've probably taught over 2,200 students because not everybody joins my email list. So that's a huge number of students in like a 6 month window.
That's pretty
Mhm.
wild. I mean, that makes me just so happy and excited because, I mean, aside from spending a shit ton of money on ads, getting that many new warm referral emails into your list who are then going to be a part of your nurture sequence, who are going to be getting your invitations to all the things that you have going on. Like it's a pretty incredible number for the small investment required to like hire an assistant and get all of this energy happening and for you to show up, an hour at a time to deliver the workshop or a podcast or do a summit interview, etc. Um, and you're only halfway through so far. So Like that is just awesome. I'm curious, like, have you ever, like, up until say last this time last year, what were your most effective marketing strategies that were working for you? Like, what were you doing before you started the signature workshop?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I'm in, I think, my seventh year with this teaching business. And I have one marketing strategy that has always worked really well for me is collaborating with other people.
Yeah.
But in the past, prior to my signature workshop outreach, I always waited for people to come to me and approach me. And then I could choose yes or no. And then obviously it was maybe two, or it was a much smaller number. So it might have been two or three collaborations for the year. And so I remember we had talked about this before. I had a barrier of being the one to do the outreach. And now I'm so excited because once I could move through that barrier, it's amazing. So collaborations always have been big in my business, but now I have a bit more intentionality and choice and agency, I feel, around it. And then otherwise, I would say I've explored other forms of marketing. Sometimes it's on social media, sometimes it's on my YouTube channel or Instagram or Pinterest, or I have played a little bit with paid ads. And then obviously through my own email marketing. But I will say that collaborations and then the signature workshop outreach has definitely been the most effective. Mhm.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, as far as simplicity goes, once you have the system built for the outreach, the research, the media pages, the onboarding a partner when they say yes, um, it's pretty hands off. Obviously, if you're negotiating the, whether to do a JV partnership launch or summit or something like that, there's going to be some more back and forth conversations that are required. But I have personally found that getting your foot in the door is so much easier with these kind of outreach emails, that people are more willing to engage in something that's just like clear and defined like this.
Yeah, and I'll say too, one thing that I love about it, and I talk about this a lot with my teachers when I'm talking about mindful marketing, is that it feels so much more intentional and there's already alignment with who I might then be partnering with because I know about their business and about who already is a part of their student base or their audience, and I know their value system, and so it feels like there's a deeper sense of alignment on the front end. And then also, I'm having conversations with people. It's not like the whole posting it on social media and you just hope people see whatever it is that you're sharing. So for me, it feels much more aligned just with my values because myself, as well as the people I'm reaching out to, we care about supporting people and having, transformations in people's lives in whatever our particular niche or area is. And so that has felt really good for me too.
I love it. And as far as the lessons learned, 400 plus emails sent, you started with a system and a process. And I know for myself, it's like each year I refine the system and the process, the approach of how do you reach out to people this year, what works now that maybe worked before or doesn't work before and is working now. Like it's always like fine tuning the system. And so I'm curious, like in 400 emails, 46 bookings, what are some of the bigger lessons on like what worked or what you try that didn't work that was a part of the original plan?
Yeah, I've really changed around my approach to the email outreach, how I'm wording things, how I'm expressing it, even down to the hubs that I was researching. I think part of that just comes through trial and error, figuring out what hubs work best for your particular niche or industry. And so when I first was reaching out, the my past partners that about the 40 that I had worked with before, most of them were yeses, and that was, an easy connection. But when I was doing cold outreach, I think the first 2 months I was doing cold outreach, it was very cricket-like.
Yeah.
And it was also right after the holidays, so I'm sure that was a factor. But I did adjust my approach and how I was wording things or how I was really naming what I interpreted as their mission when I was reaching out and how there was alignment between the work we were doing. I think that that's super valuable that you're spending time and really doing your due diligence, researching, and then naming that when you're doing the outreach. Because people don't, I feel like people can tell if you're sending an email that's a template that you're sending to anybody, and yes, you're personalizing it, but it's just a couple of words. People know, and so I think just having that deeper research and alignment and speaking in a way where people can resonate with it. That was really helpful. And then the other thing that I did when I first started, I know you have the email templates. I had created a very simple spreadsheet with just, name, email, when I outreached, that sort of thing. And over time, that my tracking system has grown and evolved and is much definitely helps me to stay much more organized. If I'm reaching out to 10 or 20 people, it's not really a big deal. But if I'm reaching out to 400 people and then I have 40 partners, I have to really have a clear system. So
Yes.
that has been really helpful having that developed over time too.
Yeah. So are you still using a spreadsheet, just a more robust, color coded with like drop down menus and all that sort of stuff?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, the bigger you get and the more you scale, I found this with like all my different businesses, the more complex shit becomes. Like everybody dreams of having a scaled business that's wildly successful, and we don't realize in the naivety of that dream how complex shit gets the more you scale, the more people you bring into your ecosystem. And it's just like I know from like scaling Magic Kids and setting up all these different licensing partnerships. We're like more than 45 licensing partnerships now. Each one wants their own way of doing things. And so we have to build new systems sometimes when we onboard a new licensing partner. When we started sending massive traffic to our Magic Kids app, we were watching where's like there was holes in the funnel that were like we were just losing people. And so the bigger and the more traffic we put down it, the more we have to refine the system. So that's super cool. Um, the previous thing that you were mentioning, what was the first point that you were making? It's just slipped my mind. It fell away.
Oh, editing the actual
Yes.
way I was doing email
Yes.
outreach.
That's the most time consuming thing. That might take, if you're just copying and pasting the template and sending it out to 400 partners, it takes minutes to do that once you get the contact info. But for the customization, that can be 10 to 15 minutes per partner to go through the pages, to like really understand what their mission is, who they're serving, what they're doing, and then what is the synergy point between you and them. And then customizing, those first couple sentences before you get to business on like, here's the purpose of the email. So
Mhm.
love that. And we are doing a bunch of template upgrades for this year's training, which based on what we've learned, what I'm hearing from you right now is like, yeah, there's always room for improvement.
Mhm.
And is your assistant sending out from her own account on behalf of you, or is she sending out from a second email address that is from you?
So she does outreach as her.
Yep.
I know people do it different ways. If an email's coming from me, I want it to actually be from me.
Yep.
So when she does outreach, she's very clear in mentioning that she's my assistant. For the partners that I had previously already collaborated with, those 40, I reached out directly to them just because we already had a relationship.
Yep.
And then she always includes if they'd like to have a conversation with me so we can chat and connect. I have my Calendly link in there,
Yep.
which is great because I think such an easy way to really tell if there's alignment with each other as you're connecting and then talking, about your values or missions or the business. So a lot of people do take up that, 15, 20-minute call to connect. And I really appreciate that. I think that's a nice way to confirm alignment.
Yeah, I've recently had a bunch of emails on people wanting to partner and collaborate, and these have also been from VAs and stuff. And every single time I'm like, I won't do anything until I've actually had a call and met the person and like
Hmm.
we get to jam on what each other's doing and see if there is
Yeah.
resonance. Because if there's not, it just
Hmm.
makes us look terrible in front of our audience if we're
Hmm.
promoting something that we actually don't believe in because we agreed to a JV exchange.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like that is foundational, the mindfulness aspect for me with marketing, but also the actual resonance or alignment. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, And for you, as far as your next steps, goals, things that you're going to continue to refine or improve, in these next, say, 6 months, what are some of your plans or intentions to like keep leveraging and improving the momentum that you've already got?
Yeah, so I'm so grateful for my VA and for the systems that are in place now. I feel like we have a pretty good flow with things. So it'll just be continuing that, although I'm in the process of creating two different signature workshop trainings. Because I offer four different teacher trainings, they are for slightly different groups of people. And so that also means slightly different hubs. And so I'm going to create those two other signature trainings and then tour those out as well. And then I just recently hosted an in-person retreat for some of my teachers that also was helping support them and them creating their own signature workshop training. So I'm looking forward to continuing to do more of that with in-person trainings and online. Yeah, so I think that's the goal right now.
Beautiful. And your existing signature workshop, it's for both the teachers and the people that just wanting to build the skills, or is it just for people looking to develop their creative meditation skills?
Yeah, so I think the great part about the signature workshop I created, the Art is Meditation workshop, is I talk about my three-part framework to mindfulness and art combined, and then I guide people through the experiences. And then in my call to action or my invitation to adventure at the end, I really tailor that to the group that I'm with. So if I know I'm working with a partner that has, for example, a lot of yoga teachers, then my invitation is more towards my mindful art and meditation teacher training. And if it's a group where it's, stay at home moms and they're taking care of their kiddos, then I adjust the invitation towards the some of my offerings for mindful art for parents and for kiddos. So I can easily adjust that, and then I can also slightly adjust the exercises. So even though it's the same workshop and my outreach is the same, I can teach on the fly slightly differently that actually meets the group more of where they are and how they might be best served. So I really love that too.
Beautiful. Um, yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate is if you have two audiences, it's just like a small tweak based on for all of the different assets that they have to send out.
Yeah. And I say all the time too, even for teachers, we have to have our own practice first. And so, it's great for them to go through the practices and experience it as well.
100%. Do you think you're going to try and get your 50 partners booked? It's a nice round number. You're so close.
I think we probably will. We have four pending right now, actually, already. And then we're still wrapping up some of our outreach. So I'm sure we'll probably be well over 50 before the end of the year.
Super cool. Way to
Yeah.
go. I mean, it just makes me so happy to see the plan executed. You've refined it, you've improved it, you're running with it, it's working. I mean, you can only just imagine, a few years from now, how many partnerships, where these partnerships lead. Because now, 50 partners, some of those partners are involved in big conferences, they're involved in retreats, they're involved with other teachers. I'm curious if, like, after you've worked with partners, if you're doing an email of like who are two or three more people that you would recommend I work with. Because if not, that is one I always do, and I always get new names. And then after they give me the names, like, do you feel comfortable making an introduction? And I've had some great introductions through that.
Yeah, it's such a great suggestion. I feel like the initial 40 that I reached out to that I had past collaborations with, I did do that. And then for whatever reason, I stopped. So that's a great reminder. Yeah.
Add it to the queue of things to do when you get a partnership.
Yeah.
And any advice for folks out there who are struggling with their marketing, who are trying to grow a business, that are trying to like figure out how to build an email list and all the things that like you're now in the momentum phase right now. Any tips or suggestions for them?
I say this all the time with my students that I work with that simple is better. When I first started with marketing in my online business, I got on as many social media platforms as I could, and blogging and email and doing networking and doing all the things. And many of those accounts are still open and available. But I think it's to dig a deep well instead of lots of shallow wells is super helpful. So just really focusing in on one thing and it just is less crazy making and usually more effective.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And for folks getting into the signature workshop thing is like it is a long game, from the time of like outreach to booking something to delivering something, it can be anywhere from 3 to 6 months
Mhm.
turnaround before you actually deliver the workshop from the first outreach email. And so just keep that in mind is like there's other strategies that exist for making fast cash now, but the signature workshop is the best ongoing, consistent, do the system every single week, and it will help you scale and grow over a long period of time, which you're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. I noticed that also. It was like a 2 to 4 month window on average, and then some of the bigger collaborations take like 6 months.
Yeah, and I guess the other
Mhm.
thing to remember is like for people who hear 1,700 plus people out of half your signature workshops, so it's likely to grow to over 4,000 email contacts this year. Um, the average person waits at least 4 months, oftentimes up to 24 months before they actually purchase something when they join an email list. And so even if you're touring your signature workshop, there's still some people, a small fraction of the people that come live or watch the recording within those 7 days afterwards will buy or join your membership because the timing is perfect and aligned for them. But the majority are going to be a part of, if for folks who haven't done this yet, we have a 5 part email nurture sequence, which is the perfect thing to send when people have joined your email list to help them get to know you, your origin story, your work better. And then they're going to want to get to know you and warm up to you. They might buy a small offering first before they buy something that's more expensive. And it really is a patience game. And the moment we try to sell them stuff, in a typical online marketing fashion, is the moment we lose their trust and then they're gone forever. And so it really is, as creators and entrepreneurs and business builders, it's a patience game. But now you have that email list is scaling and growing, and for sure there's a percentage of people that are going to buy courses in the future. There's a percentage of those people um, who are going to sign up for teacher trainings, and that math will be much, much clearer in 2 years from now when you look back at this time and all the emails, and you'll start to see like how long it takes people to convert from joining a signature workshop to signing up for your trainings.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
think too, for me, it also feels more fulfilling as a teacher. Like so many teachers and coaches, we do this work because we want to share it out in the world. And I have online workbooks that are free that people can download. One is about mindful art, one is about mindful marketing. Sometimes people download those and then they never look at them, I imagine, or you look at it but you don't actually implement it. So I think the other nice part too is that even if people who come to the workshop don't ever buy from me, they're still having that experience in that hour. And then they can continue on with those exercises later. Or as you're saying, they get to know me and then they continue to stay connected. So that also feels better to me. Like it feels, I mean, workbooks are wonderful and I still share them and I still download other people's workbooks and use them, but it feels like a bigger way of doing service and connection. And
Yeah.
then I feel like people are more likely to be curious about maybe what you are sharing when it is a live experience or they're watching a recording and really trying it out.
Yeah, it's so satisfying to watch people's light bulbs go off in real time and seeing the transformations, the epiphanies, and people's gratitude showing up in the chat. It's so much more satisfying than it's nice to create evergreen income and evergreen marketing channels, but having something that is live and consistent. And I mean, anybody watching this is probably a teacher or a coach or transformation facilitator, and that's our jam. It's what we like to do. And you don't get to feel and experience those results that people are getting in real time when it's evergreen. And that's the whole purpose of the signature workshop is we're going live with a group of people. Anything can happen, anyone could show up, and that's the magic and beauty of it. Amazing. Any final thoughts that we did not cover today? And again, repeat your website that people can come check you out. And I'll have a link to your signature workshop page they can check out too.
Yeah. My website's mindfulcreativemuse.com. And I think the last part that you were talking about of the workshops themselves, I've created so many workshops over the last however many years, like a nauseating amount of different workshops
Yeah.
that I used to have like 20 workshops just in my online store when I've retired a lot of them. And but just the amount of time it takes to create a new workshop plan that you then will be sharing out. What I really like about a signature workshop is that I can still make small adjustments to keep it fresh and interesting for myself and the people coming, but I don't have that huge amount of front end work. And then it really caused me to think more about what was my actual philosophical approach or point of view around the work I was doing. So if somebody had never heard of it before, how could I share it? So I think there's so many big benefits to going through the process also.
Yeah. It's like the Netflix special of your business, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah, except it provides real value, not just entertainment.
totally.
Yeah. Well, anybody who's inspired and curious, go check out the Craft into Your Signature Workshop training for 2025. We go live September 10th, and that is at Majik Media, MAJIK media.com/signature dash workshop. Cynthia, thanks for taking the time to come share your story and inspiration with people. I have no doubt anybody listening is gonna be like, oh man, that's what I want. I want that. So, way to go. You're doing the thing again and again and again. It's only going to get better. And thank you. Thanks for doing the thing.
Yeah, thanks for helping me do the thing.
It's my pleasure. It's my joy. Okay. Thanks, everybody. And stay awesome. See you or talk to you or hear us soon.